couple
So
minutes.
it's just a matter, we'll just have to redirect people if we can't get that link to work. But we're on a limited time here, so we need to know that. So could y'all go home tonight, text Marvin if it works or not from the newsletter, and then Marvin, I would think, then we need to go back and redo the newsletter for next week. Be sure and don't direct them to a link. Don't tell them there's the link, please go to the city website, unless we get the link.
Well, I'll get her to do that.
I mean, otherwise, we have people going down here clicking on the link and not being able to do it and quitting. I quit, and it's important to me, but I quit because it was very inconvenient.
We like easy, simple as that.
But if you click on the website, it definitely...
It does work from the website.
It does work,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And it did, just to add to that, it did go out through the school system yesterday. So,
Yeah, they sent me something back to show me that it was on there.
mhm,
And I clicked on their deal where it says here,
mhm,
and it goes right to it.
perfect.
Yeah, I just tried it and it opened it up from the newsletter.
So it will open it up, but can you click on it, and can you check it? There's a difference.
I just did it. When you click from this newsletter, it says the survey's been moved or deleted.
I have it right
It
here.
said what?
I'm just not able
It says
to.
it's been moved or deleted. You're talking about this one in the green box on his
Whenever he
newsletter?
sent us that notification and then the newsletter, and so I went to the newsletter to see if it was different, and,
Okay, so I can open it, I just can't.
Disregard the newsletter. You talking about on the website?
No, your email that you sent out, you sent
Oh,
it out,
you can't-
the email you sent out on February 24th, the newsletter. When I open up the newsletter, and there's a green box that says, we need your input, it says the City of River Oaks is
Yeah.
creating. When I click on that UTAEDU.QuestionPro, it takes me to a website, it takes me to Question Pro, and it says the survey's been moved or deleted.
Okay, I don't know what that is, because I have clicked on every link that, even the newsletter, and it went right to it. I don't know what's going on.
Working it.
you completed it though.
Yeah.
Because I had access to it, but I could not complete it.
Yeah, I completed it.
Okay.
It's real easy. Not
And
much
just
like
relink
ours.
it in your newsletter this week.
Okay, we'll see what's wrong.
Okay. But, it still is accessible on the webpage, which helps, and it's gone out to, all of our district people, so.
I've even got people emailing me theirs, manual ones.
Okay. Okay, criminal.
The criminal bill, is still set for April 1st. We're also gonna have the shredding people here for April 1st, just like we did last year. Some people have asked me that, we got that confirmed today. And I gave you the ATMA schedule, I hope you can read it. But it shows everything that's going on with the ATMA lines. A lot of people have asked me what's going on, and that's the latest schedule. ATMA's what they're doing around town,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, okay.
All the holes they're drilling in our new road.
Yeah, and with that, I guess I'll shut up.
Do you know what the wording is gonna be on the ballot, how that, for the EDC election? Do you know?
Yes, I do.
It's on there. If you go down there, it's on
Okay.
there.
I guess I missed it.
Page
And that's
66
on
and 5.
the email that you sent in about comments on whether we have a town hall or anything. Maybe-
That's from the attorney, and they're not too high on it.
Okay, so can you let us know, again, where we stand on that? I mean, what we,
Sure.
as council people, how are we supposed to address this if someone asks us how we feel about this? Can we,
How you feel about the election or about a town hall meeting?
or either one? I mean,
Govern both.
You can talk with anyone about your opinions on the election so long as you're not expending public funds to do so.
okay,
The public funds would be if you paid, right, to somehow with public funds, but more likely it's if you use something of the public's or the city's in accomplishing that. So we use public spaces, city spaces, or city personnel to accomplish something. That's typically where you see the rub come and when it's more difficult to make sure you're not doing that. So the place where you are, you wouldn't want to have your conversations in in city facilities, right? At that point, that could be interpreted as using public funds to host those things. You wouldn't want to have city employees or any city vehicles or anything like that to be used as a part of, you know, your, whatever conversations you're having when you're talking about your opinions on it. So, that would be the line for you to maintain. Other than that, you're free to talk with anyone and everyone about how you see it, what your opinions are. So,
Okay, they're gonna have a debate at the community center. We can't have a discussion or a presentation about this during that debate, because that's a community facility.
It's being rented by,
Oh, it's being rented.
it's being rented by, I mean, they're employees of the city though.
Because when they did the charter amendments, they did the presentations there at the community center. Should they have not?
well, probably not. So I'll just, let me give you the preface too. This is extremely fact sensitive, right? So we're doing, as you're getting advice on what is acceptable or not, we're doing the best to look at what other circumstances have been, where we've seen ethics advisories, opinions from the state about how this rule applies in different circumstances, and then we've got to take those facts and try to best help you apply them to yours to make the smartest choice, right, about how to comply. The community center is not off limits, so personally, as you're having conversations, you want to avoid city facilities, all the things I just talked about. If there's an event planned, it can be in a city facility. What we've seen is one way so that to be acceptable is if it is rented under normal procedures by a private party, right? So you can't use city funds to pay to rent the facility, right?
Yeah.
And you can't give a discount because then the city is contributing towards it, right? So, as long as full rental value is paid for the facility and it's made available and you don't provide any additional support that would typically be provided for someone to rent the place, then it's not using public funds for that to be occupied.
Okay, but the charter amendments were done at the town hall meeting.
Yeah, I would have to, again, I wasn't in those facts. That we'd have to get very fact specific to know, okay, what line we're walking there.
I'm just trying to make sure that this is given the same protocols that the charter amendments were given. Because they had, if it's not, if that shouldn't have done that, then they shouldn't have done that. I'm not gonna split hairs about it, but I would like to make sure it got the same opportunity to be discussed, because there's a lot of facts that aren't gonna get out if they're not brought out at a meeting.
I just wanna make sure that if we're talking to public, we're not violating some law or some ethics. That's, we all have our opinion on it, but I just wanna make sure that if we're asked about it, how do we walk that line to stay within the compliance with the law?
Yeah, so kind of the first things we talked about, that's it. If we have and we could talk more, right? If there's a specific circumstance, we could always look at that to make sure you feel comfortable with it. When it comes to the meeting, right? If, again, the example we've seen where we can say, okay, we feel safe and comfortable with this, is if the facility is rented privately, the event is put on privately, and the city is not funding or supporting through staff, materials, any other way what's happening there.
When you say materials, you talk about that fact sheet that we always do.
You can't print a fact sheet and take it to that event, otherwise that would
I
believe that's likely to be a violation technically.
The city can't
Fact it out.
Well, okay, good point, you're right. I think at that event, you should not put the facts out. I think at the city, if you're putting out information, I think that is acceptable, as long as it's just informational, and it
That's
does
all
not,
it is.
and it does not advocate for passage or defeat of the measure.
No, and it would be on the city website, or else they're not gonna have any information.
Correct. I believe that is in line with what's allowable. My concern, my recommendation not to take that to this event is it just could raise the question. It could blur the lines between who is